1917 was on my watch list as part of my quick reviews, but after watching it, nah, it deserves more than that. So let's get into it. Set obviously in 1917 during the First World War, the Germans seem to have fallen back, so battalions of the British Army were sent to the front lines to push forward as the Germans were on the run. But new intel shows that this was planned by the Germans and is all part of a trap to lure the British soldiers in, so the battalions must be warned and the attack called off. Here's where our protagonists come in, Blake and Schofield, two ordinary soldiers who are tasked with delivering the message to the general in charge of the battalion. They only have 1 day to deliver the message. There are 1,600 soldiers who are about to lose their lives, and Blake's older brother is positioned on the front lines. A lot is at stake here, and that's the story. Pretty straightforward and basic, nothing to write home about. But that's not a bad thing at all. For example, the story in Mad Max Fury Road was basically an escort mission from a video game, but the other components of the movie lifted it up to be the masterpiece that it is. Same here. As you may know, this movie is put together in a way to seem as if it was all one shot, the whole movie. Let's get it out of the way that technically it's an achievement. You're impressed with 20-minute one shots. This movie is 2 hours. Can you imagine the level of production, editing, setting up the sets and scenes, and everything else that allowed this to happen? Feel free to look online to see how they managed to pull this off. But there's so much more to this movie than its one shot nature and the technicalities behind it. The lack of transitions, the typical ones anyways, elevates the emotions in this movie. It's something that I was not expecting. The fact that you are with the characters through everything makes you feel as if you are there with them. Every second of every moment you are there. You don't have any time to look away or lose focus. That focus elevates everything you see and feel. And the way the movie is paced, it's not going to get boring. A lot of the movie is going to be suspenseful, of course, you're in the middle of a war, but the suspense is not coming from gunfights or the war itself. It's from seeing the aftermath of what had happened and what lays ahead of our protagonists, who again have an important mission to carry out. And these suspenseful moments sometimes burst into situations where there's an immediate danger and the intensity just goes through the roof as there's no cut away from the danger, there's no room to breathe. But this movie also has its quiet moments, whether it's to build up characters of our protagonists, to outline the horrors of war, or to shine light on the little bits of humanity that remain in these terrible times. There's a whole range of emotions you go through with this movie. And the cinematography, my god. Roger Deakins, the legend behind other works of art like Sicario and Blade Runner 2049, has done it again. Some of the shots in this movie just made my jaw drop. Single moments that you can take out of the movie, print them out, put them on your wall, and look at them with awe. But again, the one shot nature elevates this as well, because even the transitions between the beautiful scenes become beautiful themselves, and this by itself adds to the magnificence of the scene. Oof. And these scenes are set in different places, some in war-torn no man's land, some in the open fields of France, the remains of a destroyed village. You get the idea. There is beauty and it's varied. It's not just the beautiful shots either, the way the camera moves. It never feels the same. The camera moves in certain angles, in different pace to highlight an event, a detail in the environment, the character's reaction to something. It never gets dull. This is all elevated even more by the music composed by Thomas Newman and the acting. George McKay and Charles Chapman. Of course, the whole film is not actually one shot, but each shot must have been so long, and the actors must have kept in character for all that time, going through the different trains, different emotions, and there's a lot of physicality in a lot of these shots as well. And because there's barely any cutting away from their face, the emotions and feelings they show are on full display, and they killed it. All in all, I highly recommend, especially for those of you who enjoy war movies or appreciate cinematography in movies. Even if you're not into those things, I urge you to watch it as these kind of movies deserves more recognition and love.